In Nottingham, Beeston Town Hall has belonged to the people it serves for 80 years. But now those very people are trying to save it from being sold to private developers. Broxtowe Borough Council says it can't afford the building's upkeep, and new research this week says this same struggle is being played out across the country.
There is an important part to play for the private sector in regenerating some of our heritage buildings, but too often we're just thinking about flogging them to the highest bidder rather than the long-term community benefit.
In its report, The Great British Sell-Off, Charity Locality asked all 45 councils in the East Midlands about their future plans for public assets. From those which responded, researchers calculate around 100 buildings and spaces in the region are being sold off every year, with just a quarter of East Midlands councils with strategies to help community groups step in instead. Before austerity cuts 10 years ago, the Saffron Lane Neighbourhood Council in Leicester did just that. After securing this land from the City Council, they built 68 eco-houses for social housing needs and transformed a swampy wasteland and dumping ground for burned-out cars into a tranquil community allotment and nature reserve. A lot more than perhaps a private developer would, say those behind it.
The ground rent from this site alone pays for a debt and welfare worker down at the resource centre. So, I mean, just that alone helps like 350, 60 people a year, that one person. So that wouldn't happen from a private developer. They'd have built something and they'd have left, and that would be it.
So from these peaceful pastures to the political turbulence. Critics say the root cause of the council's sell-off is a national funding gap of £5 billion. The government says it's up to councils themselves how they manage their own finances. But as our public assets continue to be picked off by private hands, those critics are warning councils that you reap what you sow. Chris Halpin, ITV News, Leicester.